So many movies, no time to watch them all. But Twig wants to see them, so we gave Drayfjg a call. Now they're bringing on their friends, and together they will view these. So sit back and relax. It's Twig's Missing Movies.
Hello and welcome to Twig's Missing Movies, a show dedicated to watching the movies that Twig inexplicably hasn't seen. I'm your host Drayfjg, and here is our cinematically curious crow, Corvus Twig.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Oh, wow. We had Friday the 13th, followed by Pi Day, followed by the Ides of March, followed by 316, which is like, I guess, John 316 thing. I think we'll try to make that a holiday.
Then know why?
Then St. Patrick's Day.
So much today.
Then St. Patrick's Day. It's like,
Okay.
It's like 5 days in a row that are like kind of a holiday.
And also was the Oscars.
Oscars.
That's like a holiday. It's an American holiday.
Yes.
Oscars night.
The Ides of March, where they stabbed Timothy Chalamet in the back repeatedly, and he's like, A2 B Jordan.
I think you mean A2 opera.
Hey, you know what? As you've seen on a previous episode of this, I'm with Chalamet when it comes to opera and ballet.
I can appreciate what he meant, but I think it comes from a place of ignorance because it's still very much alive. Opera and ballet are very much alive. It's not like super popular, like K-pop Demon Hunters is. Which congrats to K-pop Demon Hunters. Shout out. Best movie of last year.
Won both of the Oscars. I mean, we were saying that if it didn't win those, none of the other animated movies even came close. None of the other, original songs even. I mean, come on, number one downloaded song on Spotify for the year. Like, how could it not?
It breached containment, in my opinion, because it's on the radio. It gets played on the radio still.
Yeah,
I can hear it at the gym every now and then. I can hear it at the grocery store.
They played it.
Well deserved.
When I was at the Harlem Globetrotters, they have like a thing where the thing is that they had these little intro things where like they would take a break from the game to like honor like people from the past or like important people in the community who have done like good volunteer work, and they call it their golden moment, and they had like a musical sting of golden whenever they did that. So it's like, yeah.
That's awesome.
One thing I really love about the Oscars this year is more horror movies won Oscars this year than any year in history.
It was a great year for horror movies. Probably one of the best years horror as a genre has ever actually had at the Oscars.
But I mean, Sinners, Weapons, and Frankenstein, all phenomenal movies. Like, those are my.
I do have one nitpick. At what point does what's his name who played Frankenstein, Elordi, move from being a supporting actor to a main actor, because he is 60% of that film's character.
I feel
like the movie is about him. Why is he a supporting character? He should be a main character.
It's one of those things where I guess you could say he was a co-lead alongside Oscar Isaac.
But why wasn't?
I feel why wasn't Isaac? I don't know. I would say he is supporting, but he's definitely number 2 on the call sheet.
I don't know. You just can't have the movie if. My rule for characters is this: if the movie cannot be altered without a character existing, i.e. their actions shifted to another person and the same plot still play out, they're not a supporting character. They're an actual character. Right? That's my opinion. Supporting characters are people you could feasibly, and I mean, it doesn't really make sense to do this, but feasibly shift responsibilities away from them onto another character, and the plot would still be the same.
So you're saying that movie had 2 leads rather than a lead?
Yes.
I can't disagree with you.
Leading characters in that, and the supporting characters are the doctor, the other doctor. It's Elizabeth. It's his younger brother. Those are supporting actors, in my opinion, right? Because the movie could happen with or without them. Like, the captain, in my book, is technically a main character because the plot of the movie cannot happen without that captain saving Dr. Frankenstein, right? But this is just a small digression, my opinion of how.
That's where I think I might kind of disagree, but I get where you're coming from, and I'll respect it. But yeah, it's
there's a lot left to be desired about the Oscars and how they make genres, right?
But either way, if you're watching this and you haven't seen Frankenstein, go see it. It's
fantastic.
It's so good.
Guillermo del Toro once again delivers a great take on a classic piece of literature. I would recommend all of his takes on classic pieces of literature.
His Pinocchio film
is one of my favorite Pinocchio adaptations. Though there is one, and I cannot remember the name of the director who did it. There was one adaptation where they had like an actual puppet, and they used stop motion and other forms to animate this puppet throughout the film.
Oh, you're talking about the one with Jonathan Taylor Thomas from the early 90s.
Yes, that one.
I was joking.
That one's my favorite.
I was joking. I haven't seen that one, but I've only heard bad things about it. But
no, that's my favorite adaptation because it's the most in line with the book outside of Disney's animation. And Disney's animation, I think, doesn't go into just how dark that whole Boys Island part is. And that's what I really appreciate about the Jonathan Taylor Thomas film, is because that entire scenario gave me nightmares after watching that film.
Yeah, I mean, the original books are way darker than the Disney version, and way darker than the Disney remake thing with Tom Hanks, which...
Yeah.
Tom Hanks, love ya. Tom Hanks is one of those people where he's always good, but he's in some bad movies.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good actor surrounded by bad movie.
But hey, he's working, and
he's working, and I'm not, so he's got something I don't.
And you know what? I don't blame actors who want to get paid, because actors are like, residuals are basically a thing of the past now.
They don't happen.
So like, that's why you're starting to see A-list celebrities doing commercials now, because they don't get paid
like they used to.
Yeah, you know how
it's
like
awful.
The Office is like the #1 streamed sitcom on streaming services? Yeah, the actors who are in it get nothing from that. Nothing. Now, they still get a lot of money from all the reruns on Comedy Central and TBS and all that, but from streaming, they get nothing.
And it's truly a crime, too, because residuals, well, yes, a lot of celebrities get paid a lot of money to be in movies. For a lot of lower listing actors, right, who aren't necessarily big name stars like Zendaya or Tom Holland, right, they're getting paid residuals because they were in the movie. A lot of supporting actors, like background actors and stuff like that, get money on tiny little residuals on movies that they're in if they don't get paid per diem for casting. And like a lot of creatives behind movies get paid on residuals, right? Writers almost exclusively got paid on residuals for movies.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a big part about the actors and writer strikes was all about, is getting residuals for streaming.
Mm-hmm. And they still don't have them.
I guess the movie industry is going to need to make an escape from LA. Wait.
I
fucked up.
You fucked up, because today, guys, we're actually talking not about escaping from LA, but escaping from an equally bad city that is way too expensive and has a lot of rude people in it. Escape from New York.
Yeah, which is the prequel to Escape from LA.
Which is the prequel to Escape from LA. Do
you really call it a prequel if it just is the movie that came first? Like, is Back to the Future a prequel to Back to the Future 2?
Now we're just in the territory of the Star Wars. What's a prequel? What's a sequel? Territory. And we're not here to discuss that. We are here to discuss this 1981 film. Written and directed by John Carpenter with help from Nick Castle. It stars Kurt Russell, Lee Van Cleef, Primus shout out, Ernest Borgnine,
Ernest
Donald Pleasance, Isaac Hayes, Harry Dean Stanton, Adrian Barbeau, music by John Carpenter and Alan Hallworth. I can speak. It had a budget of $6 million and had a box office hit of $50 million in 1980.
Success.
It was a pretty good success. It came out on July 10th. Distributed by Avco Embassy Pictures, a place that no longer exists.
I bet there's a lot of movie studios from 45 years ago that no longer exist.
that's pretty much accurate. It did that by the way, that Avco turned into Embassy Pictures, and Embassy Pictures eventually got bought out by Sony Pictures. So if you're wondering who owns them, it's Sony. There's only 2 or 3 major players in the owning business anymore, and it's usually Sony, Fox, or Disney at this point. Netflix being in its own little category because they're weirdos.
Well, and then Paramount's about to buy Warner Brothers, and it's bad. Mergers suck.
It's monopolies. So this was a box office hit. It had a really great critical response. It has an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes out of 72 critic reviews, 7.3 out of 10 overall, B+ on the A to F scale from Cinema Scores, and is generally viewed as a really good movie. Metacritic gives it a 76 out of 100. It in many ways inspired a lot of things that we have today. Anyone familiar with Hideo Kojima, a lot of his stuff in the Metal Gear series was actually heavily based on this movie, particularly anything involving Solid Snake. J.J. Abrams claims it was an inspiration for the movie Cloverfield, and it's a movie that I feel like is top cinema movies. Like when you talk about Kurt Russell, you're talking about this movie, right?
Yeah.
When you're talking about great movies of humanity, I think Escape from New York deserves definitely be in the top 100. I don't know like how close to 10 you would get, because I think there's some other ones that definitely outrank it, but it's up there, and it's definitely worth mentioning in the top 100, maybe the top 50.
Yeah, this is one of the movies that's on my list that I've been looking most forward to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad Jindall picked it.
Yeah,
picked by a lion.
Picked by a lion. It is, as we kind of discussed, a prequel of sorts to the next movie in the series.
It has a sequel.
It's a weird little thing. It does have comic books and does have a novel. There's a board game, canceled anime, and also a canceled video game that was in production in 2004-2005.
Does it have any canceled actors?
I don't know. I actually don't know if any of these people besides Kurt Russell, and maybe.
I mean, Ernest
Kurt Russell would be known by anyone from Gen Z. Yeah, but I don't know.
People know Isaac Hayes as he sang the original theme song to Shaft. He's more of a singer, but he also voiced Chef on South Park.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I don't trust Gen Zers to know who these people are behind the voices, right? To know if they'd get canceled. So I'm gonna say there's no canceled people in here that I know of.
Yay! Because Kurt Russell's
cool. Kurt Russell's cool. I don't know any drama around him.
No, but, from everything I've heard he's a pretty good guy. I
can't imagine he's not.
I've never heard anybody say he's a jerk. No allegations that I've heard. I mean, Kurt Russell's great, and the thing is, I've seen him in a bunch of other movies, and I always like him.
Yeah. I actually really like him in the one Santa Claus movie he did.
The Christmas Chronicles.
Yeah, the Christmas Chronicles. Not the second one, just the first one. The first one's, I think, very charming and endearing in a way. The second one is just kind of like we're reaching with straws in our hand, right? So I mean, okay, so I'm just kind of like looking through this now. I guess the most you could maybe get him canceled for is being a libertarian.
Yeah. And
that's about it. But, side point to what we're talking about here today. With all of that information in hand, Twig, why haven't you seen this movie?
Good question. I mean, I feel like one of the things that really hurt it for me is that it came out 4 years before I was born. So seeing it in theaters would have been kind of hard.
We've already been over this. Weak excuse. Go on.
I mean, it doesn't help, but I guess it's just what I don't know. This is actually because like I love John Carpenter movies. I love Kurt Russell. I have no idea why I've never seen this. I guess it's just like none of my friends that when I watched this in my 20s or 30s it was none of their favorite movies, so like they never said, "Hey, let's watch it." But I don't know. There's really no excuse for this one. I should have seen this movie before now.
I honestly like. I can forgive not seeing it because it is technically, in a lot of ways, a cult classic. Despite its success, I think that there was a time where it got forgotten about by the media and existed only in references and stuff like that. Because it's referenced in a lot of shows. It's referenced in a lot of like Family Guy makes references to it all the fucking time.
Oh yeah, yeah, like Family Guy. And...
Family Guy, Simpsons, any show that can make a reference to it or in some way, shape, or form will make a reference to it. And you're gonna see just how many references exist out of this movie.
For all I know, there's probably a Rick and Morty episode that's based entirely around.
No, there straight up is. There 100% is. It's very influential, but it's still, in my opinion, it's kind of like it's still cult classic in a lot of ways, because it kind of goes through periods where people talk about it a lot and then people don't talk about it at all. And like, Rocky Horror Picture is in quote unquote a cult classic, but at this point I feel like it's hit mainstream media enough that it's like kind of moved away from it, but holds that title because it was for so long. And I feel like that's kind of the same story with Escape from New York, where it's like it holds the title of being a cult classic, but isn't anymore.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I hope it holds up because 45-year-old, action movies from the 80s can age real bad, but I've got high hopes for this one. But it's John Carpenter. As we've seen. It's John Carpenter, so I have high hopes.
Yeah.
I mean, I still love The Thing. I will always love The Thing.
I mean, John Carpenter and Kurt Russell are the Johnny Depp and Tim Burton of their respective, I won't say genres, because John Carpenter has a lot of the same genres as Tim Burton. I would say weight class.
Yeah,
that makes sense as directors.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, Twig, what do you know about this? What do you know about this movie?
Oh,
and you can't just say the title of the name.
Okay, well, I got the predictions up, and I'm going to say what I know before I start my predictions. I know that Kurt Russell plays Snake Plissken, so I know the character name. And I know that New York basically Manhattan Island has been turned into a penal colony. But I think that's it for what I know. So I know that like New York is basically the whole island of Manhattan is a prison, and that Kurt Russell plays Snake Plissken. And he's got an eye patch, so he's a one-eyed snake.
Okay. Okay. And that's just gathered from like hearing about the film and like talking with people, or did you like watch a trailer before?
No, didn't watch a trailer. I'm just going purely on cultural osmosis at this point.
All right. That's a good way to put it. Cultural osmosis. That's how you've known about movies this entire time. Osmosis.
Yes. I haven't seen Osmosis Jones though.
Oh, I refuse to watch that movie with you on principle that it gave me my intense germophobia and fear of sickness.
Okay.
On multiple levels. But that's not what we're here to discuss. So now that we know what you know, let's talk about your predictions.
All right.
Because last time, I feel like you had a cheat sheet.
I did not! I swear I did not. Look, Good Burger was an incredibly predictable movie, and...
Oh, I know. I'm just giving you shit.
All right, so my first prediction is that Snake will find out a family member is still alive, and he will be trying to escape to see them.
Okay.
So it'll be like maybe a wife, maybe a daughter, maybe a son. I'm just going to say family member because I'm not sure, but it'll be like, hey, that attack that, you got raided in, that you thought your whole family died. Well, it turns out your daughter's still alive and she's living in Pennsylvania or something. I don't know.
Okay.
God, if it turns out to be Pennsylvania, you're gonna fucking kill me. But I'm just like, I just think he's gonna find out. So basically, he's gonna find out a family member that he thought was lost is still alive, and that's gonna give him the motivation to try to escape.
Okay. Got some good motivators here.
I'm going to say that So I feel like there's going to be like two sets of antagonists. So I'm going to say like two primary antagonists. A rival gang and the prison guards / police. So like there's going to be gangs on there. I'm going to say that Snake is going to put together a crew of people he trusts to break out together. So you guys got to put the crew together. It's like, hey, we all want to get out of here. We got to work together. We're going to do this. So let's see here. Let's see here. I feel like there needs to be some more like plot. I'm gonna say at one point Snake is captured by the rival gang, but has a big showdown with gang leader and kills him. I'm going to say every member of Snake's crew dies. And I'm going to say that he escapes from New York.
Oh my god.
Hey, I mean, it's not a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee, you're right. That title could be misleading.
For all I know, he's transferred to the LA prison between the two movies, or at the beginning of the next movie. Or I don't even know if Escape from LA isn't a prison one. I don't know. Those are my predictions.
I think they're solid predictions.
Yeah.
I would watch this movie.
Well, we're gonna watch this movie. And
with that,
when we return, we will have watched this movie.
Wow. See you guys in a sec.
Yay! And we're back. And I don't have facial tracking.
Yeah, you've been staring at the ceiling for a while. I just thought you were watching something on like a top monitor. I wasn't going to say anything, but now that you have, I'm going to laugh at you. Ha 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 ha.
I'm good.
Welcome back, everybody.
Well, we watched Escape from New York, and oh boy, do we got a lot to talk about with this movie. But we got to introduce our guest, Jindall Lion. Welcome, Jindall. Anything to say about yourself?
The best lion in chat right here. Yes, no.
Yeah.
Not much. We just play games and VR stuff on the weekends, but yeah, that's it.
Yep, Jindall's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the biggest question is you went through that whole list of movies that I've never seen, and you saw this one, and you're like, that's the one. Why'd you pick this movie?
So, very good question. And as I was scrolling through your list, I realized this is too much to look up. So I was like, let me see what this other checklist you have. It was much shorter, and I'm like, what movie have I seen or heard of or watched? I'm like, haha, let's go with this one. And that was the reason.
Yes, people have heard about The List. The List is, it's got a big list of movies in chronological order. That's like the top 50 movies from every year that I've never seen box office wise. But then I also have a couple columns that are like top movies that I just want to see, top movies from big directors or studios. And yeah, I believe.
And then there's movies that people tell him to watch because he's never heard of them.
It's very organized. I do appreciate that.
I do appreciate sometimes when we watch a movie I've never even heard of. It's good to expand the horizons. But yeah, so God, Escape from New York. Like, the plot is simple. Hey, Snake, you've been arrested. You're going to be going to the penal colony on New York. However, the president's plane has crashed. Are you a badass enough dude to save the president? And turns out he's like, well, if I'm going in there either way. But then They're like, oh, we just need to give you a little injection. And it turns out the injection is 2 tiny little bombs on his like main arteries. And they're like, you have 24 hours. And since we took so long to explain everything, you have 22 hours. There's the plot mechanism of a ticking clock. And this movie had a literal ticking clock right on his wrist. And the bombs wouldn't blow his head off. They would be just a small enough blast to basically open up both of his major arteries in his neck, which makes it hard to continue living. So they're like, hey,
you can survive it.
Get the president out in 24 hours and we'll deactivate the bombs. And so he goes in. He finds the president. He runs into some trouble along the way. He makes some friends. He
makes some friends.
I suppose he didn't know the lady or the cabbie before, and he made friends.
He made new friends, but reunited with an old friend.
He knew Brain beforehand.
He knew Brain, but I don't think he knew his girl.
Maggie.
Yeah,
but he I want to point out, he also got Brain to come along at gunpoint. That's not how you make friends. You don't make friends at gunpoint.
Well,
yeah, and the two of them. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jindall.
Well, I mean, since they're in the penal only, it's kind of like expectations. You either go with it or get a gun to your head and you do it, or you lose your head.
It kind of feels like in New York here, you have no friends. You just have people that you hesitantly trust for a while.
Wow, that's just like real New York. I mean, what?
Well, I mean, the interesting thing is that this movie, came out in 1981, and very famously, 1970s New York had a major crime wave. Like, the worst crime has ever been in New York City was in the 1970s. And so then this movie's like, well, what happens if it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse? Compared to reality, where... actually, now New York is one of the safest cities in the country. Yeah, it actually got
better and better and better and better.
Yeah. Like, New York is, now safer than it's pretty much ever been. But they envisioned a different way, which, the concept is a little silly. Let's turn Manhattan, one of the core economic centers and prime real estate in the country, into a prison colony. That's a little silly, but you're just like, whatever, go with the premise. Because then it's just like, all right, the premise is freaking great. The idea of Manhattan being a prison island, it's just such a fun idea, The fact that we have this big city that, we know it as such, but to see it in this completely different light, and just seeing it run down, but not all places are completely run down. There is actually some order within the chaos. The setting was just cool as hell.
My favorite part about New York. Sorry, Jindal, go ahead.
I was disappointed, when I heard it was a penal colony. I was expecting rampant crime and people running around. I did not see many of that going on.
Honestly,
so I think this is the thing that I think is particularly funny, though, is that in real prisons, groups form themselves, obviously, for protection, right? And they kind of do that in this, but the groups are much too large. And they're also not as comprehensive. So, these guys obviously don't have a lot of resources and stuff like that. But in prison, they've been shown many times over to be very resource intuitive, finding ways to get stuff that they wouldn't normally be able to get. I think there's a certain amount of it that would have been run down for sure, right? Just because it is a huge part of the world, and for nothing but criminals to be running it, obviously they're not going to have the skill power for it. But I'm 90% sure that if, in a real situation like this, it would have just turned into Australia, too.
Yeah, basically in the world of this movie, in 150 years later, they're going to be making Bluey.
Yeah.
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 I mean, that's the thing, is just, a lot of this kind of goes to, it's a little bit here in the movie, but, so many people just have the idea because we use the label criminal, and we just think of, oh, that's a criminal, as in, like, that is their identity. Their identity and the core of who they are as a human being is criminal. Whereas in reality, a criminal is just a person who has committed a crime. And most people are not criminals right up until the moment that they are. And so, and especially they say that, like, this is like the one, it's like, you know, so the island's going to be filled with a lot of people who just made one really, really bad, really stupid mistake, but, you know, it's just that it's just kind of, and they said, didn't they say, like, this is like the only prison left in the United States? It's just like, it's the prison colony, or did I misremember?
Something like that.
And so it's just like, the vast majority of people in prisons are non-violent. Mostly it's drug-related stuff. And it's like, yeah, there would be just penal colonies that don't have overseers and guards, you know, conducting their everyday way of life. I think you would start to see society, like, built up in there. And obviously there's going to be some issues, but, like, I don't think, like, if we started doing this, I don't think it would become a completely lawless hellhole like it kind of gets portrayed as. It wouldn't be great. I mean, it's like, we obviously don't know because we've never had anything exactly like this, but you mentioned Australia. Australia was a penal colony, and now it's, I don't know, seems like a nice place to live.
Yeah, and that's my point, is that I don't think it would have devolved into chaos, especially with overseers, right? I think there would have been, I think it would have had a period of chaos, but it would have solved itself because humans are, despite being criminals, right? And like you said, one-off things, right? Like, I don't know exactly what gets you into there in that, besides, like, maybe just any crime, right? Does this include fucking white-collar crime? Probably not.
Yeah, right? I was like, are they going to put a shoplifter? It's like, well, I'm sorry, you stole that t-shirt from Hot Topic, but you're heading to New York now.
But presumably these are, like, high crimes, right? And high crimes, they're not committed by just anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I think that there would have been some intelligence at some level about it. But also, they very clearly put people with mental disabilities and mental troubles in there, too.
So,
denoted by the
like a real prison.
Crazies.
Like a real prison.
So, I don't know. There's a lot to be desired about it in regards to explaining it. But also, at the same time, I think that's what makes it work, too, is that you don't get explanation.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to believe that it's the case. And I think that's the suspension of disbelief that I need.
Now, here's the thing that I thought was interesting about this movie, watching it. Like, I was really thinking, this is going to be an action movie. There really isn't that much action in this movie. It's actually a lot more, it's more of like, you know what kind of vibes I was getting from this? That,
it's, like, a visual novel.
Well, no. You know what? There's a genre of film that, other than the aesthetics, I feel like this fits that genre a lot better, and that would be a Western. This felt like a Western. Snake Plissken kind of felt like the man with no name, that renegade gunslinger going to have to do, that kind of anti-hero renegade cowboy type, going in to do something he doesn't want to do because he's got to do it. And, like, you know what I mean? Did you kind of get, like, the man with no name vibes from Snake Plissken?
No, I got you, absolutely. I absolutely get it. I see what you're pointing out. I think I have to agree a little bit, because there's definitely a little bit of mix of that of like the showdowns too, right?
Yeah.
There's like the gun showdowns. There's the inevitable, brawl between him and some big heavyweight.
Gotta fight the heavy. Gotta fight the heavy. Gotta have our hero fight the heavy.
Gotta show how tough he is, because he can take all these hits and still swings, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I would say it felt, but, like, it took its time. It was tense. Like, they had really great I mean, this movie had John Carpenter all over it. Like, this was, oh my god, this was, like, I could know nothing about this movie, and you could show it to me, and I'd be like, oh, that was a John Carpenter movie.
Yeah, it's the amount of camp that's in it too, I think.
Well, and because the soundtrack.
I've shot 18 bullets with this 6-shot revolver.
Yeah. But, like, God, the soundtrack. Can we talk about the soundtrack? Like, incredible. Like, I feel like this is a soundtrack where you either love it or hate it, because it's weird. It's different. It's not like a lot of what you might see in a typical movie like this. But goddamn, it's got so much ambiance. Because it's John Carpenter. Yeah, I mean that John Carpenter does the soundtracks himself on his movies, which I think is pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so Jindall, do you consider yourself a John Carpenter fan?
Not really. I mean, I don't even know what other movies he made. I'm one of these idiots who I will watch a movie that has a good story and plot, but I don't know who directed it. I don't pay attention to these things, unfortunately.
Well, his other big movies that most people know about would be The Thing, the first 3 Halloween movies, Big Trouble in Little China.
All right. Yep. Okay, The Thing and Big Trouble in Little China. Those are awesome. The Halloween movies I have not seen. I probably need to.
Yeah, no, John Carpenter is definitely a legendary movie maker, and he definitely has a style to his movies. And that's why, that's why people like him. This
is also old school, where before technology, before green screens, before all this, you had to make use of what was available. And they did a fantastic job in the movie.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, too, is that John Carpenter doesn't treat his audience as stupid. In a lot of ways, he respects your intelligence, and intelligence is like, this is the story. He does make you go, I need you to suspend your belief super hard right now and believe that we've turned the entire Manhattan fucking island into a prison colony. But after that, I mean, this is all believable stuff.
Yeah, like, there's not like, I mean, it's the crazy future technology of 1997.
Yeah. Even then, like, the technology isn't that far-fetched. It looks a little goofy, a little hokey,
But I gotta say, the effect that they did with the wireframe buildings and all the computer screens was so great. Like,
yeah.
Especially when you learn that they did all of that by basically making a small-scale model of New York City and then taping, like, bright green blacklight reactive tape all over it, and then, like, just hovering over it with the camera to do those shots. And, like, it's so effective because it really, you get that sense of it feeling 3D, but also it was a great visual. It was a really great visual.
Yeah. I'm a really big fan of John Carpenter's practical effects, especially in this movie and a bunch of other movies he's done. But like this movie and The Thing in my head have some of the best, just straight up the best, practical effects that you don't like. They trick you like the green light on the black model, right? Like that's something you probably wouldn't even think about being as a practical effect because it looks like it's so digitally made and it's just fantastic.
Yeah. I'd say the parts that, like, where it didn't work for me as too well is when all the mines were going off on the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Also,
that part was a little rushed, in my opinion. It feels a little all over a bit.
Yeah, and apparently if a car runs over a mine, it cleanly slices a taxi in half.
Without killing anyone else inside? Yeah.
Only the driver. Yeah. Only the driver. Poor Cabby. I mean, I love my
favorite character.
Yeah, Cabby was my favorite character too. Ernest Borgnine is just, he's such a delight. Awesome. Like,
still sounds like a Star Trek character to me.
Because
like his whole name.
Borg and Nine.
Ordis, Borgnine. Like, it just picture some alien in like a Starfleet outfit for a second. Call him Ordis.
But his name is Ernest.
Yeah, but I know his name's Ernest, but his name to me sounds like an alien name.
Okay, fine. Close enough. But I like kind of at the end there, the president's like, okay, you rescued me. Yes, their sacrifices mean so much. The president's kind of a dick, but again,
he was.
But but then there's Snake Plissken. What do we say about Snake Plissken?
He's a complicated man.
There was some points where I felt like Snake was almost like... He felt a little Mary Sue-ish at some point, where it's just like, everybody's heard of him. Everybody knows this guy. Everybody looks up to him. Like, he's like this legend throughout the whole thing. But like, I don't know, it feels... You know what I mean? But it's like, he had some... But, he did show some vulnerability. So he's not like, a character played by The Rock, who The Rock's like, I can never lose a fight. I must always win and be like the ultimate guy. So it's like he was still a little bit vulnerable, but I still felt like Snake was just like, I don't know, a little bit too perfect and powerful at sometimes. But then again, I don't know. Just like, to get what I'm saying.
It goes back to the Western trope, though. Like there's a lot of Western movies where the main character is just suddenly able to do everything and survives so many things, but has moments of vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like my real problem with Pliskin is not knowing what he actually did. They don't really go over that. They just kind of imply that he killed some people and robbed a bank, and that was it. I'm like, okay, but like, if I was killing someone and robbing a bank, everyone in the world, including criminals who were on a disconnected criminal colony, had heard of me, right? Like, what could I have possibly done?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like, famous war hero commit. Yeah, it's just like, I would have liked to almost know a little bit more about his backstory, but maybe they just intentionally kept it as vague as possible. Like,
to guess that he's just like awesome, like, what do you call it? Not black ops, but he has those skills, but people heard of him, but that's it. But if you have someone that kind of skills, you don't want them to be known.
Yeah.
Nice seeing the World Trade Centers again.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
There was a couple things.
A
couple things that bothered me. Boy, they sure got up to the roof of the World Trade Center and back down awfully quick.
Yeah, that's like that was like a 2-hour hike both ways, and they somehow like did it in 30 minutes, which they kind of allude to on the third time down with Brain like losing his lung.
With a wounded leg, too. It's like, that's a lot of stairs. That's a lot of stairs. I knew they weren't going to be getting out through that glider. As soon as like, oh, they're going back into the glider. Nope. No, that's not how it's going to happen. Let's talk about the Duke. Kind of cool seeing Isaac Hayes. Kind of liked that character. That the chandeliers on the front of his car. I mean,
that was ridiculous. What?
It was iconic. That's an iconic look.
That's how I want to drive everywhere from now on, forever. I want chandeliers on my front that are lit constantly.
Yeah.
You might think it's gaudy and dangerous, but I say, fuck you.
But I mean, that's not just putting those chandeliers on there. They were lit, so they had to do some wiring.
Somebody had to rig? Exactly.
Yeah, there was some impressive wiring going on there. You know.
Maybe that's why they have the brain and what the guy is known as the brain.
That kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about how, like, people who are that level of criminal are usually super intelligent to some level, or have some intelligence going in, and it wouldn't just be complete chaos.
Okay, the screenshot that's on there right now, that's one of the things I liked about this movie, is it's just like, okay, I'm tracking down the president, I got the tracker, we find this guy who's like, I'm the president. Like, that guy was funny, but it's like, oh crap, we don't have the thing to track him down. He's like, all right, well, I know where the pod is, let's go to the pod, looks around, finds nothing, and just, all right, I'm just gonna grab this chair and I'm just gonna sit down because
feel right there. Why?
Now what do I do?
I was expecting Debbie's littered, and if you saw the movie poster that you had, I was expecting New York to be under a lot of fires and stuff. Nope, I didn't see one bit of fire anywhere.
You would expect that, like, at least one of the buildings was destroyed completely, right? Or like leveled or fallen apart.
Or barrels of fire.
Not that much decay in there.
Yeah, like the streets are messy and there's debris and cars and stuff, but the buildings themselves seem to be mostly intact. But also, granted, it's only been 10 years since they turned it into it, so it's just like Was it 10 years?
Yeah,
8 years? Not a long time.
No, not a super long time. It's less than a decade, I think. Less than a decade in.
They probably didn't have explosives or anything, so
the
right,
cardboard
building.
The cardboard floorboards in the basement. Yeah, when they just burst out of the floor and grab that woman, it was just like,
oh right, that was insane.
Well, this movie had a total of 2 women.
They never talked.
Never talk. But I mean, was I expecting Escape from New York to pass the Bechdel test? No.
No, I think that it would have been high hopes for no reason.
I mean, the women in this movie were generally shown as good and competent. Unfortunately, they both died. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers for a near 40-year-old movie.
Yeah. I did like that punk guy with the big hair, the one sitting in the screenshot there. He was a funny character.
Mm-hmm.
I like when the troopers are there and it's like, we have the president. Show us where are the presidents. You have 30 seconds to turn around or he dies. 29, 28. And they're just like, fuck, we better turn around.
It's very funny seeing all these guys grouped up. Be like, oh, we could have just, maybe stormed the place. I don't know.
Now this image right here, I don't understand. Where is this field in New York?
Central Park.
It's like,
it's such a weird scene because they don't do anything else with it past that.
Yeah.
They just call down these helicopters and get this fucking briefcase, but there's nothing else going on with it. They never mention it again.
Yeah. A little weird, but it's fine.
I expected them to be like, oh, we're pulling a one over on them and we're gonna use this to kill them, right? Like,
okay,
it's kind of what it felt like it was setting up to do.
Hasa, you mentioned something where they drop food usually. Did they mention anything like that? Because, like, it feels like they would have to do food drops into Manhattan. Because, like...
I feel like they mention something roughly about food drops because they do, like, the crazies are clearly running somewhere. And that the people waving them down are clearly the crazies.
Yeah, but there's got to be some way that they're bringing food into New York because everyone would starve to death in a month if... they didn't, because there's just...
But you would think there'd be a larger group of people right there when the food drops are scheduled, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't really go into that, but it's just one of those things I guess you just kind of have to assume. They got food once a month? Okay. Interesting. Like the brawl with the big guy, I thought that was a fun scene, but I also like that they interspersed it with the other members of the crew going and getting the president out of there. Kind of. No, that was actually when they did actually rescue the president. Because then, they get out of there. They get out of there.
For real that time.
Well, it's like, Pliskin finds him once, but then the Duke shows up and retakes him and captures Snake. The tape decks. I thought the tape deck was really funny. You got the... he hands the tape to the guy at the end, and it's when the president's looking thing is like, we have this tape, and then plays it, and it's just the music. I thought that was a good gag.
Guys,
and he did ask them how he felt about the ones that lost their lives, and I think that was a good part for Snake, being like, well, you're being an ass and you didn't care about these people. You know what? Screw you. I'm keeping the real tape.
People died for this information. I need some guarantee that it will actually have mattered. And all the president says was, oh, I'm sad that they died, but I got to be on in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Like, also, there's a level with Snake where it'd been like, yeah, I understand you're the president of the United States, and like, yeah, you're going on in 3 minutes to, potentially save the U.S. I think Snake's just being a little bit much of an ass, just to be, to show that he's a cool character with no attachments.
A plane crashed in Manhattan. The president was on there.
President of what?
President of my ass.
I felt like Kurt Russell was really doing more of this voice. Like, feels like it wasn't his natural voice.
Batman voice.
And I mean, it's very clear when you watch this movie too, where Solid Snake gets all of the inspiration from, and everything. It's very funny.
Colonel, I'm trying to find the president, but it's just a drunk guy. Yeah, I mean, obviously, lots of solids. Wait, what am I doing? I completely forgot to do something.
All right. Well, we've had a really good discussion, I feel, but I do need to address some of your inclinations and proclivities about the plot.
That's not the right eye patch.
Bro got the accidental JPEG when he wanted a PNG.
I hate that.
Doing eye tests.
Well, the thing is, okay. There's this one works. There we go. I should have had this on the whole time. Arr, I'm a pirate. But yeah, we can go get to my predictions.
Let's talk about your predictions.
Hold on a sec.
I think they're really fun.
They were fun predictions. So
they were.
I had to sit. Whoa, I got tiny. So yeah, Snake. Well, my prediction that Snake was already going to be living on, like, I assumed that he was already going to be there. I didn't expect him to be new to it. Find the family member. That's totally wrong. Totally wrong.
Yeah.
Two primary antagonists, a rival gang, and the prison guards police. I mean, I feel like this is almost like a 3/4.
You were almost there.
Like
almost there on it.
The rival gang is definitely there, but the prison guards, I mean, the prison guards and police are kind of antagonistic towards him, and that, like, they're working with him, but with a literal bomb to his neck.
Yeah.
But, like, I wouldn't say that they were antagonists and they never stood in his way, so this is at best a yellow.
I'll give you that. Maybe an orange.
Yeah, it's not a full green, though, but... Snake is going to put together a crew of people he trusts to break out together. I mean, this is kind of also an... It's kind of. He does put together a crew. No. I think this is a solid yellow.
I think the implication here was that he did it before going in, not while he was in. Or, like, before starting the mission in earnest.
Well, remember, I thought he was already going to be in New York. I didn't realize he had a mission, so... Him going around to the people that he has met in the past to try and get some help and put together a crew. I don't know. Jindall, what do you think? Jindall, what do you think?
I mean, I give it
all the way, halfway, yellow. Or not at all? Yeah.
Halfway. When he got there, he did put together a crew. He didn't trust people, but, he needed someone because, he's there by himself. He ended up trusting them because they kept their word.
Well, then here's another one. Snake is captured by the rival gang. Yes, that happens. Has a showdown with the gang leader and kills him. Not really. I mean, there's kind of the chase at the end, but Snake's not the one who kills him.
He did not kill him.
So, I don't know. I feel like I got another yellow one this one.
The president killed him.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love when the president picks up the gun and like, fuck you! And starts like saying all the things like, I'm the A1 alpha or whatever the phrase was. It's like...
Yep. He went loony.
But, I mean, I was right that he was captured and had a bit of a... I feel like this is a yellow.
Yeah, I'd say yellow.
I'll give you that, yeah.
And every member of Snake's crew dies. I got that.
Green, unfortunately. The cabbie.
Poor Cabby. Would like to see Cabby live. And he escapes from New York.
Yeah.
The obvious one. So I have made a traffic light. Have we ever had a perfect traffic light before?
I don't think we actually have. This is the first.
What?
Fantastic traffic lighting here.
Yeah. Granted, my last prediction was a little bit obvious. Like, how could he not? How could they have a movie called it? I mean, I could see knowing that Escape from LA is a thing, but
yeah.
But yeah, not too predictable. I mean, what I really liked about this movie is that, like, I really wasn't sure what was going to happen next or how they were going to get out of it. It had, like, great building of suspense and tension and just a thrill ride throughout without being, like, gratuitous. Like, yeah, it's like with so many 80s action movies, you just have a lot of gratuitous stuff, and not really anything in this movie felt gratuitous. It was smarter than most. Like I said, it wasn't even that fully an action movie. I don't know if I would call it, like, you would call it an action, but like, what genre would you really say this best fits into?
Action.
Yeah.
Action hero.
But like action suspense, action thriller, maybe. But
I don't know.
But it's not super actiony. It's just
No,
but it had the right amount of action. Well, you might be wondering, okay, Twig, where are you gonna put this on the tier list? I am sorry to tell you that the tier list's website is currently down.
We found out a little too late to do anything about it.
I mean,
but we could talk about where you would put it, and so next time when people see it, they'll be like, "Oh wow, it's just like he said he would do on that last episode."
So we have the 5 tiers are fantastic movie, I liked it, dumb fun, didn't like it, and painful. It's probably been pretty obvious listening to this episode right now that it's definitely not in the bottom 2 categories. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. I really liked it. And honestly, I'm probably going to watch this movie again. And I'm probably going to watch that movie again after that. I'm putting this in the top tier. I'm saying this is a great movie. I friggin' love this movie. I had so much fun watching. Like, the thing is, I can't put it in dumb fun because it's not dumb fun. It's smart fun. It's well-crafted fun. It's just well put together, and I just had so much fun watching it. Like, dumb fun is just like, it's not a great movie, but I had a lot of fun watching it. No, this is a great movie, and I had a lot of fun watching it. So, Jindall, thank you so much for picking this movie. This is one of the most fun
You're
movies.
welcome.
Like, in terms of watching the movie, this is some of the most fun I've had on Twigs Missing Movies. I 1,000 times better than the other John Carpenter movie we've done on this show.
The 80s and 90s had really great movies.
They
They
did.
had to make do with limited technology, so you have to appreciate it for what it
writing a
was.
lot of the technology that we have today. Then too.
Yeah. So yeah. Top tier movie. Super glad I saw it. And do I dare cover Escape from LA now, or just watch it?
That's up to you entirely. But you'll have to wait until next time when we're talking about what is it? Legally Blonde? Is that our next?
Legally Blonde is our
movie?
next scheduled one. But that is going to be 3 weeks from now because 2 weeks from now is Easter. But right now that's the plan. But you know, as you've seen in Twigs Missing Movies past, plans can change.
Plans can change. Well, Jindall, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for choosing this movie. Would you have anything you'd like to shout out before we rate out?
This was awesome. I had fun. Thank you for inviting me. And rewatching this movie as an adult, you catch a lot of things you didn't catch when you were a child.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Anything you wanna shout out, Dre?
No, I got nothing.
All right. Well, catch me on Mondays. Mondays I'm usually streaming Planet Zoo. And then when we're off on Twigs Missing Movies, I'm usually doing Corbett's Crapers and Conspiracies with Susie. Love that little chicken. Isn't she just the best little chicken? Yes, she's the best little chicken.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Well,
Who
we're
are
gonna.
we
Let's see here. Let's go with Connie was our guest on Twigs Missing Movies a few weeks ago, so we'll go say hi to her.
All right.
All right.
Well, everybody, thank you for joining us. Thank you. We hope you were entertained by our banter.
Are you
We
not
hope you liked
entertained?
the movie. And we'll see you all next time on the next Twigs Missing Movies.
Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And if you're watching this on Twitch, please go to my YouTube channel and like and subscribe. Smash that bell button to always be notified. All right, bye-bye. Oh my god, Dyfin, you can't start a hype train. We can't do 10 things at the beginning of the episode. Thank you, Dyfin, for all the... But now there's this thing here, and I can't do the raid. I can't do the raid because the thing popped up. I can't raid during...
Hype train?
I can't raid during a hype train. There we go.
There you go.